hello.
Hit the dollar store tomorrow morning.
Didn't wanna say it, thought it would occur to you. I tried to just forget it, wasn't something I could do. I never wanna let it get to where it got with you. Now I can't depend on you. Lately, I've been at home and I'm all alone, thinking of you because, baby, I know that it's wrong. I've been holding on to pictures of you. Lately, I've been at home and I'm all alone, thinking of you because, baby, I know that it's wrong. I've been holding on to pictures of you. I don't know where things are headed, something that I never knew. It's not what I intended, wanted to be clear with you. But now that things have ended, I'm finding things to get me through. Since now I can't depend on you. Lately, I've been at home and I'm all alone, thinking of you because, baby, I know that it's wrong. I've been holding on to pictures of you.
I was born a lover, everybody knows. Just the way it is, just the way it goes. She's a cold companion, like a desert rose. The worse it is, the more she glows. Woman, are you under? Woman, are you under? Woman, are you under?
Test, test.
Test, test. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Epic Chef. If you haven't been here before, my name is Thomas Mance, and I work at Feeding Tampa Bay. Fortunately, after the night is over, you'll be happy I have a day job and that this is not my full-time job. But I'm here with my good friend, Jeff Philbin, and we're your co-hosts for this evening. Jeff has been an important friend to us over the years. Jeff, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me back. If you guys do not know me, I was from Fox TV's MasterChef, netted out as the
Did you
fifth
win?
best. Netted out as the fifth best home cook in America, beating out 34,000 people. Had a lot of fun. Tampa was the most name-dropped city in that entire process, but more importantly, it's connected me with great organizations like you guys that
what
we
did
get to
you
do the
cook?
mission. What didn't I cook? I cooked everything for Gordon Ramsay. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of insult, a little bit of laugh.
What's his personality like in real life? How many people watch Gordon Ramsay? How many people hate Gordon Ramsay? How many people love Gordon Ramsay?
We still stay in touch. He still knows everything that is happening here in the Tampa Bay area. And to get to the question and give you the answer, how many of you have ever watched an athlete afterwards in an interview just saying, man, you had an awesome game, and they're like, oh, I was just in the zone. You ever question, afterwards, like, what does that mean? Like, oh, he was in the zone. We're going to find out later tonight.
I feel that way often at work, that I'm in the zone. Kelly can attest to that.
And what does that mean? It's passion, right?
Yes.
It's drive. It's determination. That's all that Gordon Ramsay is to the T, and it never, ever changes. He's always like that, and he's left a huge impact on me to give back, to be a part of the community, and to use that opportunity and that platform to do good onto others, and that's what we're here tonight to do. We're going to have a lot of fun with you all here, and we've been doing this now for what?
8 years. This is our 8th year of Epic Chef. So first, a round of applause.
But keep those applause going, because in 8 years, over 2 million meals have gone back to our community because of this particular event.
Yes, 8 million. Yes, 8 years, 2 million meals. And we'll mention throughout the night a couple of different folks that have been very important to us in the cause that we support. But we really first want to recognize and thank the folks at the Epicurean who make this night available to us. And so we're grateful for them. We actually have a couple of other rooms we're occupying tonight as we celebrate our finale, right? Our 2 returning chefs are the winners from previous rounds.
Week 3 is bringing the top of the top. We've seen them happen in weeks 1 and 2, but tonight they're coming out there with that mystery box of ingredients. 30 minutes for each round to cook the best dishes of their lives to be able to have the title. And we are in the room here with Mr. Marty Blitz.
Mr. Marty Blitz, the chef.
The mentor and the inspiration.
Right. If you've ever enjoyed a meal in Tampa Bay where you sat down in a restaurant and said, this is really good, and the chefs are fantastic, that's because at some point they worked for Marty Blitz. So, Marty, we thank you. He'll be joining us a little later tonight. I do want to take a moment just to say, so if you don't know, Feeding Tampa Bay is the area's largest food and services relief organization. And we have 2 primary purposes that we exist for. One is, first and foremost, we put healthy, nutritious meals on tables. Folks like Florida Blue help us with that. The second thing is we also provide services and opportunities for the folks in our community who are struggling. So our objective is always the same, which is to make sure that when a neighbor shows up in front of us, we're able to help them through the difficult times that they have in that moment, and even more importantly, as they move past that back into a place of prospering, we want to be there with them for that journey. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But you're here tonight because we really like to celebrate 2 things. The first is we like to recognize and bring awareness to food insecurity, as I just talked about, and neighbors who don't always gather around a table like we will tonight. One of the things we say about our work is everything in good in life starts around a table. You guys are going to have a meal with us tonight, different kind of table, a different kind of opportunity, but importantly, we're also able to celebrate the culinary community here in Tampa Bay.
That's absolutely right. And that first course is making its way out from the kitchen, so please don't hesitate to start having those first few bites, because we're going to have some fun with you tonight, and we're going to have some fun with our chefs. Tonight, we are joined here with the winners from 1 and 2 weeks to really make it a huge opportunity for us. I'm joined here with Chef Evan Lipman and Chef Adrianna Siller, representing Chef Evans with Wild Child and Adrianna with Bandit Coffee. I mean, these 2 chefs in particular are now in 3 weeks of having this competition, cameras in front of them, microphones in front of them, and they continue to go.
Yeah, so I'm going to do the thing you never should do. I'm going to hand you the microphone. I want to ask each of you, how does it feel to have won, and how are you feeling about your game tonight?
Feels good to have won, and feels good to be back. I'm glad that St. Pete crushed it and that we're in the finale. We're literally neighbors. We're across the street from each other, so it's nice to be against a familiar face. And honestly, whoever wins, we're all winners. So I'm stoked to be going against Chef here. She's killer.
And Adrianna, you just came out of a win from last week. You're riding that high, that momentum going into this week, inside the finale. What does it mean to you if you're able to cross that finish line and come out on top tonight?
Yeah, so for anybody who watched last week's competition, it was a nail biter. I am very lucky to be here. It came down to a tie, and it was a very tough competition against a very tough chef. So being here tonight, winning, I'm so excited to have made it to the next round. Like Evan said, it's going to be a St. Pete winner, so we're happy for that, and I'm excited to get going.
Very cool. Very cool. And I think we got a quick couple videos here of who is going to be cooking tonight a little bit more in depth. Moving forward to July 24th, Evan Lipman from Wild Child. And moving on for next week will be Chef Adrianna Siller from Bandit Coffee. Well, you two, we are so excited to see what you're going to do tonight. Just so that you guys here know what's going to be happening, 30 minutes, they have to cook their best dish in the first round. And what's really, really special about this is that our judges are going to be judging them on 3 pieces of criteria: flavor, creativity, and presentation. But before we even get into that whole presentation piece, let's talk to our friends over at Trinity.
Yeah, so if you haven't noticed, you have a lovely appetizer in front of you. One of the things that Feeding Tampa Bay does, aside from providing groceries, we also provide prepared sit-down meals in 3 restaurants in and around Tampa Bay where our neighbors and friends can sit down and have a meal together. Tonight's appetizer was prepared by our executive chef and our chef team. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but let's use this video to tell you a little bit more about Trinity Cafe.
I started cooking when I was very young. My mother and father both worked, so my grandmother would watch us. I'd get antsy, and I would wander into the kitchen. She said, "Danny, what are you doing here? I told you to sit down." I said, "Well, I want to help." She said, "Okay, come on, help." And that's really where my passion for food started. I was at 56 years old. I've been cooking for 32 years, cooked all over the country for most everyone imaginable. So it was a big transition going from just serving, 2 or 3 star style fine dining food to now making a home scratch, home cooked meal that may be the only meal this person's going to eat versus someone or a couple paying $150. Now I'm doing it for free in an environment that's all about dignity and respect, and really more about the guests now than it was ever before. Maitre d' sits them at the table. They walk to the table. They're greeted by a server. They're asked if they want their food all at once or coursed out. They get 3 courses. With the economy being the way it is right now, it's hard on people, So what we're seeing a lot more of is families coming in. We're doing everything we can to take that day outside, get them out of it, get them in a safe place, and really, really treat them like family in a sense, which is what I try to get my staff to do, and it's really the angle that we take. Trinity 3 is an empowerment center, so they're much more involved with that, sort of a one-stop shop, clothes, showers. They have programs there, computers you can use, classes. The majority of our product does come from Feeding Tampa Bay, so it's very unconventional, and yes, it is like CHOP. We don't write 7-day menus. We write what we think we're gonna have for 7 days, but whatever hits the back door can change that in a second. So without the team, this does not happen, and I have been blessed to have a great, hardworking team. I have Fresh Force employees, which is a program of Feeding Tampa Bay. They go through a culinary program, and then the students can come work with us. We have 2 or 3 other certified chefs who work here. Yeah, we have volunteers come in all the time, and they're such an instrumental part of what we do every single day. They work with our full-time staff. I mean, it's so humbling beyond the biggest level you can ever imagine. It'll make you realize what really, really, really is important in life, and that's family, and it's the basic sustenance of giving someone water and food.
Let's hear it for Chef Daniel.
And now I have been staring in awe and amazement because I'm starving just as much as all these guests here are hungry tonight. They get the first course with you. Walk us through what you cooked for them tonight.
Well, we wanted to do something rustic and rich, and we've done that with a short rib ragu. We did it low and slow, braised it. We did it with a little truffle-style herb toast point. We wanted to give them something to eat with the gemelli pasta. My wife says you can never have pasta without bread, so we did that. We have the herbed ricotta, which you can do what you please. I would put it on the bread and then eat the ragu. And there's also heirloom tomatoes in there, roasted cipollini onions, and fresh porcinis.
Just like that. Just like that, folks.
Yeah, and let's hear it for Chef Daniel and his team. I don't think the video emphasizes this enough, that every single morning your team comes over to the food bank, figures out what they have, and then you figure out what you can make within the next hour or so before you start cooking.
That's exactly right. We do have our base ingredients, but as far as what specifically we're going to serve, we don't know till sort of the last minute. My chefs are very open to that. We've all enjoyed doing that. It's a little different than our careers have been, mine back in the casino business, but it makes it interesting, innovative, and at my age, it keeps me interested in it. It really does.
Yeah, it's a great thing that we're able to do, and I think the other thing that's important to us, the founder of Trinity Cafe, Jeff Derry, has always said, Trinity Cafe is 49% food and 51% dignity. Everybody that comes in sits down and has a meal with a friend. So, Chef, we thank you for all you do for us, and a round of applause for Chef and his team.
All right. I think it's time that we kind of get this show started, my friend.
Yeah, I don't know what card I'm on. They gave us cards. There's lines we have to stand between, so we're in the camera.
But did you notice that this week they put
Yeah, they
dark?
were red last
it was
week.
red. It was so much like, hey, we knew where we had to be.
Right. This is what happens when you don't hire professional MCs.
I think that's it. Speak for yourself, though, my friend.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, moving right along.
Let's go right ahead and let's get these mystery ingredients because I need to know what we're cooking with tonight. These two chefs, they need to start figuring out what they're going to be doing tonight. So let's start bringing out some of our mystery ingredients here so we can start the show.
These are some pretty interesting ones.
How's the first course, though? While we're waiting. I mean...
This is what we call in the TV business suspense building, right?
My name is Anija, and I am 10 years old. What I want to see the chefs use is frog legs. My mom said they taste like fried chicken.
So one of our great partners is the Boys and Girls Clubs, and that's one of the youngsters from the Boys and Girls Clubs that's introducing, and she chose the mystery ingredient that you all get to work with. Do you want to tell us a little bit about frog's legs and why and what?
I don't have no comments about that.
No comments.
Do they really taste like chicken?
Yeah, maybe.
Can we see the frog's legs, Jeff?
Oh, I wouldn't. I would absolutely love to see these.
Oh!
Absolutely incredible. You guys have some great ingredients to work with, but not only do you have just one secret ingredient to cook within that 30 minutes, you've got two secret ingredients. Are you ready to find out what number 2 is going to be? Are you guys ready to find out what number 2 is going to be? Fantastic. You also are going to be cooking tonight with black garlic. Black garlic. Have you ever cooked with black garlic, Evan?
Just a few times. It's a very strong flavor, but if used right, it can be very delicious.
All right, all right. And Adrianna, have you seen these ingredients, worked with these ingredients before in your past?
I've never cooked with frog legs, eaten them. I've cooked with black garlic, so
So we got a little bit of a head start then. All right. Well,
How
then
many
let's see.
people are excited about frog legs? No. No one seriously raised their hand.
I don't know. I think maybe we finally got the secret ingredient that they needed to have.
All right, this
to
is a tough
really kind of
So
go
tell
with it.
us, you were a master chef. What would you do with this? I don't want to give away secrets, but what would be the main challenges of working with these two ingredients?
Really kind of making sure.
Aside from their frog legs and they're nasty and foul. Aside from that part.
Actually being able to do something with that, because from the standpoint where the frog legs, that's going to be the hardest one to really work with, is really finding something that they're going to actually find appealing, bringing those two flavors together. The black garlic you can have a lot of fun with if you I don't want to give them all the secrets right now, but if you can weave it in, possibly as a nice sauce, possibly. Do something delicate with the frog legs, have something that's going to have a nice little bit of that undertone of that black garlic into a nice little sauce. I think you can have some fun with it, but I don't want to give them the tricks of the trade, because they've got 30 minutes to do this. And then we're going to check in to see what they're going to be doing with it, because, ladies and gentlemen, their time starts now.
Okay. So as you finish up your appetizer, we want to bring up and talk to our celebrity chefs. So as Jeff mentioned, what are the criteria that these folks will be judged on?
So they're going to be judging our chefs tonight on 3 different items here: flavor, creativity, and presentation. And we've got a panel of some of the best for tonight to take us through this championship round.
All right. So Jessica, you want to start first? We'll go from the inside out. Come on up and let's say hello. Everybody, Jessica Stolenmeyer, welcome back.
Also known in the social circles as @Tampa Food Girl. So make sure that you guys are following her on all social platforms.
Now, what exactly is @Tampa Food Girl all about?
So that's my handle, primarily on Instagram, but you can also find me on Facebook and TikTok. It's all about bringing you the best that there is to offer in Tampa. So I'm going to, especially new restaurants, which we have a ton of now, old favorites, hole in the walls, some hidden gems, and then a tiny bit of cooking at home mixed in there. Not a lot. I'm definitely not a pro chef. Master Chef is not calling me anytime soon, but I do enjoy cooking every once in a while.
So you appreciate the art form and you go out and comment on it and make sure that people know what's happening.
Certainly, yes.
And piggybacking off the art form of food, walk us through what we're seeing now that we have not seen before for the Tampa food scene right now.
Yeah, so in the Tampa region, we're bringing in a lot of diversity. We're seeing a lot of Mediterranean restaurants coming in particular, and we're seeing a lot of high-end restaurants. That's what's really, I feel like, coming into town. And then we're also having, I think right now, a little bit of a revival of some of the smaller restaurants, those that really worked so hard to make it through the pandemic, and that they made it through because not only did they have the dedication, but they had that crowd because of that, that home-cooked feel, that feeling that you get when, maybe you've never even had the food before. Maybe it's even a dish you've never even tried before, but when you taste it, it tastes like home. And that, I think, is, really beautiful and what we can see a lot of in town.
What are some of those restaurants that stand out to you that are hitting home, that are changing the mix here? In the Tampa
Nissan
scene?
Plus,
Without a doubt.
right? Marty
So-
Blitz, Nissan Plus, round of applause.
A staple, 37 years come September 29th, right? I know this because my birthday's September 28th, 1986. So I know that they were one day afterwards because I found that out one of these years. So I'll never, ever forget their
Sorry, this
anniversary.
restaurant is older than you?
No, I'm older than them by one day.
Oh,
So I got that one going for me.
wow.
But the Tampa Bay scene is changing right now. We are eating more with our eyes. We are seeing competition come into this area. How much of that now is changing the way in which food bloggers and those that are on social media are using the platform to show those differences now, those changes that we're all kind of a part of?
Yeah, I mean, I think food bloggers and people locally are doing a great job of really demonstrating not just what's on the plate, but also the vibe of the whole place. And I think, there's a lot more video content that's been popular, and so I think people are really turning to that to try and capture the vibe of a whole place, because, before you go somewhere, you want to think about the food, but you want to think about what the whole experience is going to be like. So I think we're really seeing that captured in video a lot.
I love it.
Yeah, one of the things we would like to ask all of you, we'll subtly sneak in a few asks throughout the night, but here's our first. Please frequent the restaurants in our communities. Go visit them when you have an opportunity. Places like Mise en Place, the Epicurean, are two competitive restaurants tonight. Everybody says it all the time, that small business drives communities. They do. And when you go out to eat and choose, you are putting money in the food of the chefs, money into the pocket of the chefs, of the folks that work at the restaurant. You're helping our community grow. So we'd always ask you to do that. And then we want folks to, if you want to know where to go, where to be, who to see, where do we find you?
At Tampa Food Girl.
At Tampa Food Girl. Thank you, Jessica, for being here.
Thank you.
All right, so our next judge may or may not need an introduction. Come on up. So this is a gentleman whose name is Tyler Glasnow, who pitches for, what's the local team you pitch for?
The Tampa Bay Rays.
I think what people want to know is, how do you feel about the opening weekend for Oppenheimer and your starring role in it?
Yeah, I mean, come on now. Have you guys seen this picture yet? Literally twins right here, folks. Twins.
Yeah, it's good. I strap a mole on my face and I just get to baseball after I'm done filming, and we're ready to go.
Well done you. Great movie, great opening. So we're really glad to have you here. Thank you for coming and spending the night. You're having a great season, a little up and down here and there, but you guys are having a great season. We always enjoy following the Rays. They've been great partners of ours for many, many years. So tell us a little bit about you and your career. So obviously you've got a bit of height on you. How did you end up throwing fastballs as opposed to dunking basketballs?
I just was better at baseball. I played basketball when I was younger. I was good at it, but like baseball and track were always my two sports, and then I just loved baseball a lot, and I got the obsessive bug, and I just ran with it, and now I'm here. Yeah.
So pretty exciting to be with a Major League Ball club. So we have a couple of questions we always like to ask. Who's the batter when they come up, you think, oh man, I don't want to face him?
Probably Xander Bogaerts. He used to play for the Red Sox. He's with San Diego now. He's always just done really well against me. And then like weirdly, actually, yeah, probably him for sure.
Who's the person you would most like to hit with a wild pitch? Who's the person you think, I would totally like to plunk him? This isn't on camera. No one will ever hear this.
That's such a good question. Who can I think of? I can't even think of anyone. I gotta have it.
We'll give you time on that.
We'll give you time on that one. Now, you've got a whole fan base here. You've got 81 home games that take place here in the Tampa Bay area. You've got the off season. You're a part of the Tampa scene right now. Walk us through a little bit about some of how you get to enjoy yourself on those off games, and then how you're able to enjoy some of these restaurants as well.
Yeah, I like to eat a lot of food. I'll go to restaurants and stuff. I generally eat relatively healthy through the week and like cook meals and stuff, but the day after I pitch, I'll get real nasty with it. I don't know, I'll go to like whatever restaurant. I like to bring like teammates and stuff, and a lot of guys like to eat and whatever, go on a boat and stuff, and I like just eating and boat things. That's always really fun.
It's funny you say that too, because Thomas was talking about, some of the greatest memories are centered around the dinner table, and it brings people together. It's a conduit, right? How much does that play into the camaraderie of the team and bringing everyone together to sit around a meal when you're on the road, or bringing the families together when it is an off day? How much does that play into just building what we as fans of the Rays want to see a team really be able to develop a full circle approach to it?
Yeah, it's huge. We have like 3 meals a day at the field. So we'll get there if the game's at 7 or it's like 6:40. We get there at like 1 o'clock, and we'll have a meal prepared, and everyone just eats together. We have like 3 chefs, and then we have a lunch, and then we have a dinner, and that's why a lot of baseball players are fat. So that's what. But it's amazing. Like, Like that really does bring the team together a lot, and like after games as well, we have like a fridge full of beer, and then we have like a nice camaraderie type of thing, and on the road especially, and it is like probably one of the more important things. Like we're on the field and we battle together, and then we'd all kind of laugh about it at the end of the day.
Hey, do you think I could come over and have dinner with y'all?
Yeah, if the security lets you in, you might as well hop in.
Okay, well that's not going to happen.
He's still on the other do not call list, so I don't know if it's going to be able to work through.
So Tyler, the Rays had a great historic start to the season. As we know, it gets a little flat in the middle. How do you feel about the team? How do you feel about your prospects as you start to head in post All-Star break, second half of the season?
It's exciting. The Rays have always done a good job of like just a bunch of prospects. They have such a good like farm system. We're always stacked with a lot of depth. Our team is really good right now. It's probably one of the best teams we've had in a long time. And as you said, like yeah, sweet.
Give that one up.
It's a really long season, so there's always going to be ups and downs, and we've managed the beginning of season just to do really, really well. And right now we're in a bit of a rough stretch, but it's like inevitable. It happens, and then we're going to get out of it though. And the team is really close. And generally, when you kind of can battle through a tough stretch, it creates like a kind of a stronger bond, and then like you need it for the playoffs. So let's get it out now, and then we'll be good.
All right. So last question: how many pitches would you have to give someone in this room for them to get the wood on a ball just one time? How many would it take them to at least hit one pitch? If you had anybody in here, would they be able to hit a pitch from you?
I think it depends who's good at baseball. I don't know. I would say I think it would if you just kind of put your hands out there and you try to touch it, maybe like 10. Let's do that.
I bet on 100.
100 was going to be
100 pitches, man. Nobody's going to hit them.
I don't think.
Right? How fast is your fastball?
The fastest I've ever thrown is 101, but I'm like 96 to 99-ish or something like that. Yeah.
You have thrown a baseball over 100 miles an hour. I hope that you have something important to add to the... Everybody, welcome Tyler Glasnow. Thank you for being with us, and go Rays.
Awesome.
We have an obligation to introduce all of our chefs. It's not really something we want to do, but we have an obligation to do that. So let's bring up our last judge, Chef Rachel.
First question I got to get right out. So how fast was your fastball pitch?
Definitely not that fast. Lord only knows I know I look like this, but I've never played softball, believe it or not. I think volleyball was my sport, I was straight up until 8th grade.
The net's pretty high with volleyball, right?
Yeah, but it didn't. That's why I didn't play basketball. Hello.
How about the stretch?
So if you don't know, we know Chef Rachel pretty well. And if you want to talk about great chefs in our community, this is one of the leaders who has been at some of the greatest restaurants here in Tampa. Tell us a little bit about your journey through the restaurant community here in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, definitely. So my first job was Burns Steakhouse. So straight out the gate, I just was very much go big or go home. I had the opportunity to work for Jeannie Parola at Edison. I found my home at Oxford Commons Hospitality about 10 years ago. So I've done Oxford Exchange. I opened the library in St. Pete. Now we're at the SoHo House. I know Marty Blitz. I've never gotten the honor to work for him, even though I know many great people who have worked for him. So he's definitely a legend.
He really is. And I mean, he's mentored so many different great chefs that have been here. And you've had your own level of trajectory for what has been your career, having it started so long ago and now seeing where it's at. What is happening over at Stovall House? What are you having to be able to do there that allows you to put your stamp on what makes Stovall House so special?
I think the beauty about Stovall House is that because we are a members-only based club, each member is different in what they want. So we don't just fall into we're a Mediterranean restaurant or an Italian restaurant. We really get the opportunity to do different kinds of cuisine throughout the gamut of the menu, as well as doing lots of different wine dinners and events. And I really get the opportunity to be as creative as I can and really get to explore all different types of cuisine.
So, Chef, you've been around a lot of different restaurants, and we were just asking Jessica about the restaurant scene here. What are you excited about when you go out and have meals? What are you thinking what's happening in Tampa and St. Pete and the food scene?
I think the most exciting thing that I'm seeing right now is that people are taking simpler approaches to food, but really making them look super beautiful and taking that time to focus on really fine ingredients and then making them taste super delicious. And I love when I find a restaurant where they take something that is familiar, but they flip it on its head, and now it's this beautiful dish. It's just, I love that we're coming back to the basics a little bit. Not everything is this theater, even though I love the theater part of it, but still.
And so you've been here now. This is your third week. You've gotten to judge the first 2 weeks. You've sat through this. How are you thinking about the competition, and what's your observation so far?
I think these are two really great chefs. So what I'm really looking for is going to be the creativity part and presentation. I know that their flavors are going to be great. They both know how to cook really well, and I think it's tough competition to be what's going to set them apart. They also cook very different types of cuisine, so it's going to be exciting just to see what they can do with the mystery ingredients.
Now, when you saw those mystery ingredients, frog legs, black garlic, what was going through your head? Because we're already about midway through, so now we can actually like kind of talk because
Okay.
they're kind of already got a rhythm going.
You're having me fill time. I got it.
Yeah, if you could string this out, it would help the audience. Otherwise, they get bored.
Going. They're going to be tired of looking at me in a minute. Okay. What was the question?
Frog legs, black garlic. What was going through your head when you saw that those were going to be the mystery ingredients for tonight?
So black garlic is something that I love. I've used very many times. I think it's a wonderful ingredient. It actually is not as spicy or strong as regular garlic. It can be a little bit sweet, has a really good tang to it. So that ingredient alone, no matter what other protein you gave me, we could make something work with it. The interesting thing about frog legs is that it's kind of difficult to take that ingredient and really turn it into something different. You kind of almost have to respect the ingredient and kind of cook it in a way that really brings forward what frog legs really are, and then really do something fun with the black garlic.
Yeah.
Who has had frog legs that thought they were really tasty?
You have some people.
Huh?
A little
Okay.
adventurous. All right, I dig it.
All right, did you raise your hand? All right, can you please introduce yourself? Tell us who you are.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shannon Smith. I'm a sales director for Coca-Cola Beverages Florida, based here in Tampa. And I'm also, I am also a proud board member of Feeding Tampa Bay. But yes, I am originally from Mississippi, so frog legs is not something that was very strange for me. So it is something that many people back home prepare. It's usually fried. And someone asked earlier, if fried properly, it tastes just like chicken. So you have to get past the look of it because it doesn't look like chicken. It still looks like frog legs, however, can be very tasty when prepared properly.
And Coca-Cola is one of our great sponsors here tonight. We're awfully happy to have them. They've been a supporter of ours for quite some time. Are you going to do a check-in?
I kind of want to. I mean, we're about the midway point, and I mean, I kind of see something that's going to be going. Where you're going to. It looks like you are going to go the traditional route.
I'm gonna fry them.
I'm going to fry them.
That's gonna be delicious, I know. So
I think it's a great move. It brings out the nice texture, and you are really being able to preserve that flavor, and everything's going to work out really well. I also see Evan's playing around with the Vitamix. Evan, what are you making over here?
I'm making a black garlic aioli right now. I just love the kind of really dark, deep caramelized flavor of black garlic, and I think it goes really well in a creamy sauce.
I love it, but you also look like you're going to be doing the same thing too. You're frying your frog legs up too, right?
Yeah, that's just the way to go with frog legs. Like Chef Rachel said, you kind of just got to respect the ingredient and go back to how it's supposed to be cooked, and I believe that's how it's supposed to be cooked.
That's the way it's supposed to be cooked.
All right, so you've gotten your meals. I see you're diving in. We're going to give you a few minutes to enjoy, talk to each other. We'll come back in a couple of minutes, recognize and thank some of our sponsors, and get close to the end of our first 30 minutes. Thank you, everybody.
Don't be afraid to say I need you. I will understand. Help me understand. Oh. For your loving,
Welcome back. We're glad to hope you had a little break enjoying your food. I see people taking pictures of everything. We appreciate that. I don't know where Robert is, but he's our social media guy. What's our hand? What is this stuff I need to know? At Feeding Tampa Bay if you want to tweet, although it's going to be called X now, I understand it. It's X. So if you want a lesson on how to take a company and drive it into the ground, pay attention to the Twitter story. Right? But, social media is a great way for us to tell the story of what we're doing and what is happening in our community. And speaking of people that help us tell the story of what we're doing, we want to thank our sponsors, many of whom have been with us for all 8 years of Epic Chef. And we can't start the conversation without thanking our friends at Florida Blue. So Florida Blue is our lead sponsor. Thank you. They've been our presenting sponsor. We'll hear from from Dave during our second competition, so we appreciate them. I also want to recognize our friends at Chapel Roberts. So when you guys see, how many have seen our advertising throughout Tampa Bay? Nobody's raising their hands. What the heck? Thank you. All of that work is done by our marketing team led by Kelly, but also Chapel Roberts, so we appreciate their support and long partnership. One of our other partners here is DTCC, who has supported us for many years. And one of the stories we like to tell about them is everybody recalls the start of the pandemic when we had a lot of people. You saw thousands and thousands and thousands of folks in line to get food. A lot of corporations weren't comfortable with the risk that would be, for colleagues when they volunteered with us. DTCC showed up every single week, every Saturday for the better part of 2.5 years, almost 3, and volunteered to make sure folks in our community had food. So a round of applause for our friends at DTCC.
We'd also love to give a big shout out to Steve and Victoria Heiser, former board member too.
Yeah, Steve was on our board for close to over 30 years, and they've supported us in many, many ways. We're always grateful for them and their friends being with us here tonight. Thank you, Steve.
We'd also love to give a shout out to our friends over at West CMR.
Right?
Awesome.
Thank you all for being with us this year. Ryan Companies, who is actually in the other room, they are an important partner of ours because they're doing a little thing called building our new facility. So Kelly will talk a little bit about that in a few moments, but it's quite an undertaking, so we're grateful to have Ryan Companies here with us this year as well.
Couldn't be remiss without saying thank you to our friends over at Coca-Cola, our friends at Carlton Fields, and our food friends too tonight. We got to give it up to Cheney Brothers, who has provided the food being used for all of our menu items for tonight. Everything over here has been through our friends at Cheney Brothers. And, of course, our friends at Cisco, who have an incredible activation for dessert food in the lobby right afterwards. So you want to make sure you stick around for the incredible desserts that our friends at Cisco have put together for us.
Right. And then one last big thank you to our friends at MetLife, who have supported us for many years, been important parts of our work, had board members serve with us. We appreciate it again. And a round of applause for all of our sponsors. So it's not often that we are graced with, we have judging royalty here tonight, but we also happen to have TV royalty here tonight.
We certainly do.
So Gail, would you come on down? Maybe we'll get to say hello to you.
The hosts of In Bloom on WFLA.
So Gail, you've been a member of the community for just a little bit of time, but most of us know you from your morning show. How long did you do that?
26 years plus.
So 26 years of getting up at what time?
1:30 in the morning.
Okay, so 1:30 in the morning is the wake up. Monday through Friday, though, what time are you going to bed?
Well, with 4 kids, around 9-ish.
So you're cruising on about 4.5 hours of sleep every day.
For 26 years.
Yeah, exactly. And a nap here and there.
Wow. So most of us know you from your long tenure at the morning show, but you've kind of struck out and you're building a whole new brand, a whole new opportunity to communicate with folks differently. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing at Bloom TV.
I feel very blessed. When I left my 26 years plus as a morning news anchor with, calluses on my vocal cords and not in good health, I thought that was it. I wasn't really ready to leave, but my health was ready for me to leave. And about 6 months later, Channel 8 called me up and they're like, hey, we're launching something new. We're trying to grow a new health and wellness show. Why don't you try it part-time? If you can do an hour a day, we'll make it full-time. So now 3 years later, Bloom is now in 350 million homes nationwide, and we're on streaming platforms that we just launched.
Good for you.
I think the question on everybody's mind is, do you have revenue sharing from the number of households you're in?
I need you as my agent. That's for sure. I didn't negotiate anything big, but I'm just really glad to be there and share great stories.
Yeah, tell us just a little bit about what kind of stories do you focus on? What's the point of Bloom? What are you trying to tell about our community and in our community?
So it's a health and wellness show, but health and wellness applies to so much. It's your physical health, it's your spiritual health, and it's also the health of our community. So one thing we're very passionate about is Feeding Tampa Bay and the outreach, because that's really important as a third-generation Tampanian, someone born and raised here. It means so much to me on a personal level to be able to be at events like this, be around amazing people and supportive people like yourselves, and of course shine the spotlight on incredible nonprofits like Feeding Tampa Bay.
Yeah, thank you. You did that beautifully. Very nice dovetail right into the Feeding Tampa Bay. But we appreciate it because one of the things we've talked a lot about, and Kelly would say this, the greatest challenge that we have is telling the story of our neighbors. I don't know if you know this, but every single person in here knows someone who is struggling with economic or food insecurity. Every single one of you. And what we try and do is tell the story, and that's what tonight is about. That's what all the other things we do publicly are about. And it's one of the great things you've been able to do is tell the story of our neighbors.
It's true because food insecurity touches so many lives. It could be your teacher next door. It could be the police officer that puts himself on the front lines every day. And while I am very honored to be able to share these stories, I should say for everyone sitting in this room supporting Feeding Tampa Bay, you know, it really all starts with leadership and trickling down from the top. And that's why over the last decades, Feeding Tampa Bay over the last decade, I should say, Feeding Tampa Bay has expanded and grown into something that I'm sure the nation looks at as a formula of success.
Well, thank you very much for that. We have a great team. We're honored to be here. I've talked through we're down to 21 seconds.
Final seconds in the first round.
Everybody,
here.
Gail Garardo.
Thank you so much, Gail. And we've got 10 seconds left here.
9, 8,
Time is up.
That is
it. Walk away from your plates. Walk away.
I didn't know whether the countdown was for the food or the gentleman that came in with the bottles of wine.
Both are equally as important, my friend.
Which one were you guys counting down?
Both are equally as important. All right.
Okay, so we're going to give the judges and the chefs a few minutes to get themselves started.
And while we do that piece, I'm going to bring over Chef Adrianna, who's going to walk us through this dish. It looks absolutely fantastic. As our judges now get a first little bit of it. Come on over on this side here for me. Tell us what you cooked tonight.
Okay, so tonight I stuck with the regular fried frog legs. I knew that I wanted to keep it more my style and stick to my roots, so I try to go something Mexican with it. I try to figure it out. I ended up doing almost a black garlic salsa roja. It's just kind of stewed the tomatoes, garlic, lots of flavors, the black garlic in there. On the bottom, I did like a lemon green. So I just did some of the broccolini and the greens. I charred them over the fire, put some lemon on there so I can get the acid, the crunch. I put a little bit of spice in the salsa as well, so I'm trying to get all the flavors in there.
How important is it to make sure that you are able to celebrate 2 ingredients, but knowing that you have so many incredible foods to work with, but staying true to your roots? How important is that to kind of find a balance in a plate that you had no idea that you were going to have to cook tonight?
Well, this is I'm a few competitions in now, so I'm a little more practiced with food competition. I've learned for myself that I need to stick to what I know and to what I'm good at and to what I love to eat, which is Mexican food, my roots, my Mexican heritage. So I've just found that I have all the ingredients here to do it, and that's what I'm trying to stick to.
Was there one that was a little bit more intimidating than the other? Or were they just, hey, I got this?
I've never cooked with frog legs, so that was pretty intimidating. But I knew frying them is the best bet. They got the panko on them. They get really crispy and crunchy, almost like a wing. And I love to eat chicken wings, so I just try to kind of use them in that way.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
It's pretty exciting. So we often like to ask the amateur chefs we always have folks that think, I know how to cook. Anybody want to tell us what you would have done with the 2 ingredients? Anybody brave enough to share? Show of hands? No one?
I like how you did the black garlic on that one.
All right, we'll give it to the ringer.
That is what I would have done.
Tell us what your name is, what you do, and who your father is.
My name is Carson Graves. I am the son of Chef Daniel for Feeding Tampa Bay. I am the sous chef for Counterculture under Chef Jeannie Piorla. And yeah, I'm here. This is great. I'm so excited for. Well, for frog legs, I've braised them before, but with 30 minutes, I think frying was probably the best way to go for both. It's a lot of flavor, and I don't think anything else could really be a good thing to do with them. So.
Thank you. Welcome back. Nice to see you. All right, so Chef, I think it's time for us to.
Well, I got to hear from Chef Ben Pomales from Bandit Coffee, too. He's been waiting outside, wanting to know exactly what was going to be happening with some of these ingredients here. I think should we get Ben in over here? I think we need to bring the big guy in here. There. All right. Chef Ben Pomales with Bandit Coffee. Frog legs, black garlic. What's going through your head when you see something like that, too, for knowing that she's got to cook something like that?
We were just talking about it back there. It's a hell of a basket.
It's a hell of a basket. All right, so why? What's going on there?
Well, as I think both chefs did, we immediately were like, fry them, make them tasty. You know, it's something they don't see every day. So no, we were excited back there. All the chefs, we were hoping to see what they were doing.
So for those that don't know and don't get to see it every day, what's happening in your world, tell us a little bit about Bandit Coffee.
So Bandit Coffee, over the last 2 years, has gone through a huge shift. They built a new kitchen. We have a whole bakery. So we're kind of more than a coffee shop now. Still doing nationally recognized coffee, roasting coffee, but we're doing house-made sourdough, brioche buns with our head chef, pastry chef Jalen. We're doing great breakfast, very simple, Spanish influence, Southern influence, but what we try to do is just try to just nail it every time. Consistency, speed, flavor.
I dig it. Consistency, speed, flavor. Where can we see you guys? When can we see you guys as well?
So you can see us 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. over on Central Avenue, about 100 feet away from Wild Child. So we're friendly with each other, but you can catch us in St. Pete 7 days a week. And what I will say is, for those of you that don't go out to St. Pete, don't know about Wild Child, don't know about Bandit, do not sleep on us. We're doing some good food. So, you know, we got nothing to prove, but we to ourselves. So come on out and check us out.
Everybody, a round of applause.
Round of applause for
you.
our friends from Bandit Coffee. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right, judges.
Let's get a little bit of some feedback going. Rachel, walk us through the first few bites here.
We should just fight about the microphone. Okay. Come on, girl. You're doing great. Okay, so I think the frog legs are cooked really awesome, very tender, juicy. The breading on here is really delicious. I like the greens. If I had to make any sort of comment, it would be that maybe the black garlic got lost a little bit in the heat of the salsa. But, I mean, everything was super good. I wouldn't be mad about it if I got this at your restaurant. The flavors were there. The salt was there. And I love that you stuck to your roots. So, really great job.
Killer. Tyler, first impressions when the dish came out to you, what was going on with the plate?
Yeah, I think I've had frog legs one time before a long time ago, and it didn't taste anything like this. I really enjoyed it. The flavor took me by surprise, but it was amazing. It was awesome. I didn't really taste the black garlic either, but I think the spice was great. I love the spice. The vegetables were awesome too, and it was cooked really well. And she was telling me it's like if you cook it too long, it gets like jerky, and it was not like jerky. It was awesome. It was really good.
Dig it. Jessica, round us out. Give us what we're tasting here through this dish.
Yeah, so I think it's phenomenal. It's very well cooked. The crunch is really exceptional on the frog legs. And then for me, when I took just a touch of the salsa, I could get the black garlic, but the heat kept building, which I really enjoyed. For me, it was like right there on the edge to really enjoy the spice. For me, the greens maybe they were a hair too charred and just a little bit too much acid for me personally. So that would be kind of the only thing that I might alter just a little bit. You know, if you had more than 30 minutes, of course, to perfect the dish. But it was phenomenal. Really enjoyed the flavors.
Sounds like a good start to round one. Sounds like a good start to round one. All right, well, let's get Evan to come on this side here because I would absolutely love to hear what Chef Evan did with his dish. Same, 2 ingredients, frog legs, black garlic. What'd you do with the frog legs?
So I did a breading that it has Parmesan cheese, parsley, a little bit of black pepper, lots of salt, and it's just like a nice breading to and as well as panko, just to stay out of the realm of just panko. It's just like a little bit extra flavor. And then I did a black garlic aioli on the bottom, a little bit of frisee and jalapeno and radish on there, just to contrast because everything else is so rich. It's a little fried piece of meat and a rich aioli with a very intense black garlic flavor. So I think the bitter frisee really cuts everything else.
How important is it for everyone that's watching this to really know when to incorporate something that's going to break through some of those flavors, so that way then it can accentuate the palate?
I think it's pretty important. Just like you ever like crush a whole pizza and you're like feel terrible. That's just that's the feeling that you want to avoid. It's just like a super rich, like entirely rich meal. Obviously, it's amazing, but a little pop acid or something bitter is something good to break that up.
All right, who here has crushed a pizza and felt bad afterward? Pretty much that describes the entire 2 years of COVID, right? Let's crush a pizza and feel bad about ourselves.
But I mean, black garlic, frog legs, it's not the same thing as pizza being crushed at home. But I'm sure there's somebody out here who's been able to crush some frog legs and some black garlic too, right?
I asked him before. Nobody's willing to step up.
No one wants to just jump up. Or so
I had
maybe
to go to the ringer.
You had to go to the ringer for it.
I had to go to the ringer.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got
Okay. So chefs, or judges, I see we're eating away. Much different presentation. One of the things, Jeff, we want to remind our guests is we judge on 3 different elements, right?
Mm-hmm. Flavor, creativity, and presentation are what our judges are going to be looking for, because they're given the exact same amount of time, the exact same ingredients, the exact same opportunities to cook any of the same things. But it's about their mind and their ability that's going to transform a dish and take it from one frog leg to the next. So let's find out how these frog legs are working out. Jessica, tell me, fried frog leg again, same or different?
So similar but different, right? So we got a little bit juicier here, I will say, on the frog leg. Slightly less crunch, but a little bit more flavor coming from the breading here. I really love that you incorporated those additional ingredients in your breading. That was really cool. And then the garlic is coming through really nicely too in the sauce. Super creamy. Maybe one more flake of salt. I like it salty, but maybe one more in the sauce itself. But it's phenomenal.
And that was a black garlic aioli that you had made, right? Correct. A black garlic aioli he was working with. Okay.
Juicy frog legs.
Juicy frog legs. Tyler, do you agree with it? Were they juicy frog legs?
They were very juicy frog legs. You cooked them really well. I like all the other, like the sauce is really good. The Parmesan with the garlic, everything is really nice. It was executed well. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you.
Right on. Rachel, we were going back and forth, and where to weave in the black garlic. How do you do that? I mean, do we go for something that's going to be a lighter? Do we go something a little bit heavier? We went with an aioli here. Walk us through, how did that bring everything together on this plate? And do you taste that as a secret ingredient that had to shine in that dish?
Definitely. I think the aioli was a smart choice. You definitely can taste the black garlic in there, which I like. I like the breading of the frog legs. For me, I don't know that I would have gone with the frisee and the jalapeno, but I see what you were doing with it. The presentation was beautiful. For me, if it's on the plate, I want to eat it, right? So like maybe would have made a acidic vinaigrette for the frisee, but overall the flavors of the frog legs were great. The flavors of the aioli were great. Everything that you were supposed to highlight, you really did. So you did a great job, and I love that you tried to plate it a little bit differently with those ingredients. Again, they make me say one critique, so if I had one, that would be it. And they were juicy frog legs, for God's sake.
Well done. A round of applause.
Nice job.
So we have also an opportunity for you to participate. So we have a couple of questions we're going to ask you. If you would get out your phone.
This is the time for audience participation, because we want you all to be a part of tonight's festivities, too.
Right. This is also a way we take this information and we start debiting your account for donations. No, I'm making that part up. I really am.
Favorite colors, walks on the beach. We know everything about
so
y'all
we have
right
two
now.
questions we want you to answer. Most creative use of mystery ingredients. So just weigh in.
And again, those mystery ingredients, frog legs and black garlic.
And your question is most creative. So we can see the QR code, which is really big. And, there we go. Okay, so far.
Real time, these things are happening. I dig it. Question number one looks as though that it's been pretty steady.
Right, most creative.
With these results.
I think it was the word juicy that got most of our.
I think it was juicy, yes.
Juicy.
Juicy.
All right. So I think we're about done there. Here is question number 2. If you're ready for that. Best presentation. So you saw a bit of a picture of it, each dish when it came down. If you would vote on best presentation. We mentioned last week, for the first time in our 8-year history, we had a dead tie. We had to go to 2 tiebreakers. That's how our chefs ended up here today, a dead tie. So audience votes matters because ultimately, Kelly, what was it, like 0.2 of 1 percentage point? Yes, difference between the 2 chefs. So, right?
Real time.
Real time. All right. Thank you for that, audience. We appreciate you participating.
And round 1 is in the books.
Round 1 is in the books. Round of applause for our chefs.
One more round to go in this finale for these 2 chefs. One of them will be one step closer to becoming our award title name for Mr. Marty Blitz.
The Blitz Award winner.
Is a huge
Yes.
honor and an accomplishment. And what's even more important is seeing where these 2 chefs are going to go with 30 minutes because they've got 2 new mystery ingredients to work with. And those 2 new mystery ingredients are whole pompano and mint jelly. Mint jelly, whole pompano, 30 minutes, flavor, creativity, presentation. There's a lot to work with.
What do y'all think?
The eyes just got bigger on our 2 chefs. This is a tough one.
Why is this one tough?
Because these are 2 ingredients that really just don't go together. I mean, literally, mint jelly with a beautiful pompano fish. I mean, come on now. This is something that no one should be taking on. But these 2 chefs have been tasked and challenged to bring everything they got within 30 minutes.
Chef, you look really excited.
Oh, no, not really.
This one's a little tough one. Evan, first thoughts when you were told that you're going to be cooking with mint jelly and whole pompano?
It's a big fish.
It's a big fish, but you've got 30 minutes to work with that big fish because your time starts now. That's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
That's a tough one.
city sun, you know you're growing. You've grown into a fair child. Oh, well, now mother said to daughter, girl, you're showing how to be a real wild child. Oh, well, I can't be satisfied. Couldn't be more right. Blues is gonna move, shake 'em loose tonight. I'll sing it. Brothers and sisters, won't you gather around? No need for tickets, we're all from the same town, singing. Why aren't you coming anymore? Why aren't you coming anymore?
decided to sing and dance the night away. The night away. Despite my wails from a tortured soul, they remain to keep me under control. Money was scarce, but our spirits were high.
right, so we're back inside here, the Signature Theater here at the Epicurean Hotel. And I'm joined here with Rob Ryan-Smith, who's the executive chef for Wild Child. Your boy Evan, I mean, whole pompano, mint jelly. This is not something that's on the menu.
No, definitely not. Whole pompano, that's like in his wheelhouse for sure, but the mint jelly is definitely, that's going to throw him off.
That's going to throw them off a little bit. And as the team here starts to bring out all of our dishes here, this course is prepared by you guys.
Yes, that's
Walk
right.
us through what our guests are having this evening.
So we have a pork tonkatsu with a apricot bulldog sauce, a little bit of QP mayo, and then a stone fruit salad with some smashed cucumbers, all tossed like in a mango fish sauce vinaigrette.
See, and that's where I think something like that is where you fold that mint jelly in.
Yeah.
That's
So
where it
that's
is.
the sweetness.
It just brings it all together, and just a little bit could go a long way. But accentuating and hiding it inside that, I think, is the way to go.
I would definitely do like a
Hint,
salsa
wink.
verde with something salty like anchovy or capernit to
Something.
balance out the sweetness.
Have a little fun.
But yeah, it's.
I
so-
think. No, I think it's an absolute, testament to you that you guys are always pushing the limits, and that you guys are having so much fun right now with Wild Child. So, tell everybody a little bit more about Wild Child.
So Wild Child is a seasonal New American restaurant with a lot of like Latin and Asian influence. We cook, with the season, so all we really care about is just like bright, bold flavors. We like to use lots of spice, lots of fresh herbs, different textures, and it's cool because we're not drawn to any certain type of food style. We can just do whatever we want. We like to cook what we like to eat.
So, how and when and where? Fill us in for all of the big open-ended questions of how we can be able to interact with you guys.
Yep, so you can find us on our Instagram. We're located in the Grand Central District of St. Pete on 27th and Central. Like Chef Ben said earlier, 100 feet from Bandit. Just want to give a huge shout out to Bandit. We love being their neighbors. Wild Child staff survives off Bandit cold brew and pastries, so it's great synergy between the two restaurants.
I dig it. I dig it. Chef Rob Ryan-Smith for you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Great seeing you.
Okay, enjoy your meal. We'll give you a couple of minutes, and then we'll be back in a moment with a few other conversations and interviews, so enjoy.
Only get it when I get apart. I can hear it from 1,000 miles. That frequency, she's on a frequency, and I caught it. Never talks about the same thing twice. Trucks and records in paradise. That frequency, she's got a frequency, and I caught it flying over me. Oh, now feel that sound rushing through the fields and flowers. Her voice coming through my doubt. She's the one, I swear to God, a frequency. She's got a frequency, and I caught it all over me. Can't I put train or bicycle that far, but climb the oak tree in my backyard, and I can hear her for a while. Hear how her voice bends as she smiles. Oh, now I feel that sound rushing through the fields and flowers. Her voice coming through my dial. She's the one, I swear to God, a frequency. She's got a frequency, and I want it all over me. But a wave is all I got. Oh, I'll never need to touch. Just wait till 6 o'clock. da. She's the one, I swear to God, a frequency. She's got a frequency, and I caught it all over me.
around. Now we could do things. We could bring in the talent. But if you see the character stories, all of them went in their.
All right, everybody, we're getting
It is
close.
so true. And that-
Jeff, we're about 10 minutes away. So speaking of having special guests, we'd like to introduce a couple of special guests to you. So, Jeff, I have here, do you want to tell us who you are and what you're doing here?
My name is Carrie, and I'm Adrianna's mother, so we're here tonight supporting her again.
So, your mommy, how do you think she's doing so far?
Ooh, I'm nervous, so I know I can imagine her, I can see her, and I'm just curious what she's making, so it's hard to tell from here.
So, here's the question. Who taught her how to cook?
She probably got it from him and from me, too, and from her grandmother, too. She learned since she was little cooking with her grandmother, so.
Family business.
Yes. And my husband and my son love to fish, so we make a lot of fish, so that's why I'm curious. I was thinking she was going with ceviche, but I'm not sure if that's ceviche or not.
So what would she said ceviche, you would recommend that going that direction?
Well, if she had more time, I recommend pescado zarandeado, which is like a grilled fish that they do in certain parts of Mexico that my son actually cooked one a few months back, but that's not enough time for that, so.
I like where Mom's head is on that one. I mean, if she really did have the time to do a nice ceviche with it, then you take in that mint jelly, you've got a little bit of the acidity, you can really infuse someone's going to be that liquid that's going to cook the fish with it. Not a bad job, Mom.
But I'm assuming
Mom knows best.
I'm assuming, Jeff, that like most children, she doesn't listen to her mother.
That is probably also true as well.
All right, so thank you, Mom and Dad, for being here. So we mentioned before that events like this happen because people step up and step in and help us. We'd like to bring up our presenting sponsor, Dave Pizzo from Florida Blue. Dave, if you would. Come on up and say hello to folks, Dave. So everybody, this is Dave Pizzo, and your title here at Florida Blue and here in Tampa is?
Market President for Florida Blue, for the west coast of Florida.
Right, so you've been here for about 10 or 12 years, is that right?
Actually, it's like 14 years now. It's amazing.
So I think, Dave, one of the questions people always ask, and we're going to stand away from that hot stove, one of the things, there's a YouTube video waiting to happen. One of the things that I think we always like to ask folks or want folks to understand is Florida Blue is a healthcare company. I think that's how we would describe it. But how do you end up working with a food bank, and how do you end up sponsoring something like Epic Chef?
Yeah. Can I hold that?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You have to give it back.
I will. Okay. So Florida Blue, why would we sponsor something like this? Florida Blue and our parent company, GuideWell, is a health solutions company. Insurance is one of our businesses, but we're really all about helping people and communities achieve better health. So when Gail even talked about Bloom and what they're doing, that is like spot on for what we're doing. We take a lot of our profits and put it back into the community and things that really make a difference to fulfill that mission of helping people and communities achieve better health.
And so I think one of the things, Dave, you've invested, I think if folks don't know this, and Dave mentioned putting profits back into the community, Florida Blue and us alone has invested millions of dollars, millions literally, and we're not the only organization you support, in making sure that there's fresh, healthy, nutritious food. Because I think one of the things you know, Dave, is that folks that don't have access to healthy food, you see it all the time. The outcomes are never good.
Yeah, as you know, sustenance from food is a basic, almost right. Without good food and nutrition, it's hard to have health, it's hard to work, it's hard for children to go to school and learn. So it's really a basic for life. So we support, one of the three areas we support as a company, as an organization, are anything that helps with food insecurity. And also, after basic sustenance, we all know that eating well, more vegetables, fresh fruits, different things, less processed food, really goes a long way to helping people improve their health too. So that's something, science keeps proving more and more. Obesity is a huge factor in the United States. So the more healthy we can eat, the more exercise, the better we can be as a society.
Yeah. I think, for us, One of the things we want to make sure that you understand is our work that we do, we often get the thanks and we're appreciative of it. But our work goes only as far as folks like Florida Blue can take us. And Dave, we are exceptionally grateful for that. The other thing that I would say for us as a corporation, this is also our insurer. And so these are the folks that look after us and our team and make sure we have the insurance products that we need to be a healthy organization. We could not be more grateful to or thankful to you. Everybody, Dave Pizzo and Florida Blue, if you would.
Let me just say one thing. Thank you for the shameless plug. That's always helpful, promote our brand. But I'm also on the campaign cabinet for the capital campaign for what they're trying to build. And Thomas asked me way in the beginning of the process, and happy to do it. The mayor's leading that effort, and it's just amazing. If I think everyone here knows what's being done, but if you don't, please go online and check it out. It's going to be something really special in the whole country, I think, what you're doing here. So I'm proud to be part of that.
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Dave, for that. And while we're speaking of shameless thank you, Dave plugs, Kelly, maybe you want to talk a little bit more about what we're doing. But again, we want to say thank you to our 8-year lead sponsorship, Florida Blue.
Thank you. How many of you are here tonight for your first Epic Chef, #1, or first Feeding Tampa Bay event of any kind? A lot of people in the room. And I think by now you've figured out that it's very important to us to tell the stories of the restaurant partners and hospitality groups who partner with us. It's important for us to talk about our sponsors. Again, thank you, Florida Blue, and our sponsors in the room. You learn a little bit about Feeding Tampa Bay, but what I want to focus on is telling you a little bit about the people that we serve. And so in the 10 counties that Feeding Tampa Bay is responsible for caring for, we have 1 million food insecure individuals. That's 1 in 7 adults and 1 in 4 children don't know where their next meal is coming from. And so I think it's very important to understand too on that 95% of those are individuals from working families. You know, that's kind of a misnomer that we're predominantly serving the unhoused, which are very important to us as well. But the majority of folks that we serve are working, and then by the 3rd or 4th week of the month, their revenue, their income runs out, and they come to us for help. And so it's really important that we all understand that. And as you leave tonight, you may say to yourself, I'd like to be a part of doing something for those people, for those individuals, 1 million people in our 10 counties. And there are little things that you can do, there are big things that you can do. A little thing is to make sure that you tell our story. You've now heard that there are 1 million people who need our help. You've learned that 1 in 4 children is hungry. And so whether you share that on your social media platforms, whether you're around a dining table and you have an opportunity to say, you know, Feeding Tampa Bay is doing this. I had an opportunity to learn about it. You may want to come in and volunteer with us. We'll have 60,000 volunteers this year who support our work. And then you may say, you know what, I'd like to give something, whether that's a small thing, as Dave mentioned. Thank you, by the way, for the plug. We're building a $60 million facility, and it's not about the bricks and mortar. It's not about the building. Thomas did not envision a new facility as a glamour project for us. It's so that we can feed more people efficiently, and that we can take in more healthy food. And so we would ask you to give that some consideration. And if you need any information around it, I'm Kelly Sims. Thomas and I, any of us can answer some questions, but most importantly, go out and tell the story. Thank you.
And it's a beautiful story.
Yes, it is. And we have another story unfolding while we were, right?
Our chefs knew what was happening and did not change game plans. They knew that the clock was still counting down, and they took it down to that last second, and they did it all within 30 minutes with their second round course.
Yeah. So pretty exciting. A round of applause for our chefs.
No countdown. They just knew what was happening. I mean, I was talking to someone about the show, The Bear, and every second counts, and I'll tell you, these two knew every second counted.
So one of the things we always want to make sure that we recognize is a couple of things. These are folks that work probably 6 days a week, and they chose to come here on their 7th day. They came here to volunteer their gifts and talents to us, which we're grateful for. And so, again, a round of applause just for folks being here and competing.
Yeah. It's an incredible thing because they are competing for their restaurant, they are competing for their pride, but they're competing to give. They have a platform.
Right.
They have a means to be able to do something special, and that's what they want to donate their time with. But it's not truly just that part.
Yeah.
It's a celebration as well, because one of our chefs tonight will be crowned the Marty Blitz Award winner, and that in itself is a huge title that we have the joy of having Marty Blitz in the room with us tonight.
So Marty, come on down. And while we're doing that, let's go ahead and make sure that we put the first dish out on the judges' table.
And we're going to bring Adrianna's out first, get a couple pictures of it. And come on over, Marty.
Yeah.
You know, Marty, 37 years of having a restaurant here in the Tampa Bay area, come September 29th from 1986. Again, fun-filled fact, everybody. I got one laugh. Thank you very much, Ian. I was applauding just that one laugh, and I got it. What does it mean to know that you've had a role in mentoring and shaping the culinary scene 37 years later, that now we get to celebrate what you've been able to accomplish, what you've been able to give back, and what others are still feeding off of? What does that mean to you?
It means everything. I mean, it's a big honor to be able to be where I'm at. It also means I'm the old guy in town as well. So, but no, it's great. It's a great honor to be where I'm at, and I've had great people come through our kitchens, and to see them move on and do great things, it feels amazing. Yeah.
And how important is it when you see the successes of those individuals, yourself, but knowing that there's something more that is necessary? There's something more that needs to be, as Kelly was saying, there's a story that needs to be told. How important is it in your role to have that be the way that you can share that light onto other great organizations like Feeding Tampa Bay?
Well, I mean, I'm a very inspired person, and I want people around me to also be inspired. And I feel if I can inspire people to become better, then I think I'm doing a great thing. And I've seen a lot of great people move through and doing great things, and that just is incredible, so.
I think, I said this before, I can't emphasize enough that pretty much every restaurant you love in Tampa Bay and St. Petersburg, their folks came through Marty's care at some point in their career. And so we all owe him a debt of gratitude. To all of you that say to your friends, hey, I'm a part of a really cool scene in Tampa where there's a lot of food happening, restaurants, a lot of exciting stuff, that's why. One of the unsung heroes with his partner, Marianne Ferrance, who started Mise en Place. Great folks in our community. And I want to, again, emphasize all of these folks that volunteered with us and supported food banks over the years. And Marty, we are so grateful for you. It's one of the reasons why we named the award the Marty Blitz Award that the chefs will go home with tonight. So, Marty, thank you. I know we're going to have you back up to present the award in a few moments. Thanks very much, everybody. Marty Blitz.
All right.
We'll wait on screen. So we want to bring our chefs out and start to talk about our dishes, right?
We do. Adrianna, come on over on my side here. You got the first dish going for our judges. Our judges have already taken a few bites into it. They've gotten a little bit of a feel for it there. But everybody here doesn't know all of what you just did. So in 30 minutes, what were you doing with whole pompano and mint jelly?
Okay, so whenever I first saw it, first of all, I'm a big eater, so I love to travel and eat with my partner and my friends. And so I actually recently took a trip to Miami, and I ate at a Japanese-Peruvian restaurant called Itame. And they had an awesome dish that was Parmesan leche de tigre with scallop. So I've kind of been sitting on that dish, so I knew that I kind of wanted to try to play into that. That's just kind of the first thing I thought whenever I saw the ingredients.
So you want to play into a dish like this, but we haven't had that dish. So talk us through a little bit about what that dish was. Why did it leave such an impact on you then to then make it onto a dish like this now?
Yeah. I just remember being very surprised by that dish, how well Parmesan and lime went together. So for this one, I just tried to do a leche de tigre, which is basically a Peruvian-style ceviche with the mint jelly in it to try to really bring out that mint flavor. I marinated the snapper in lime acid. I had a crispy component, which was the fish skin, to put on top that I didn't get to put on there. But I just try to really bring out the actual secret ingredient in the mint in the sauce and just incorporate it in the best way I could. I'm happy with what I did. So
I dig it. And plus, it's also kind of true to form, though, because we had asked your mom about a little bit about the dish and everything. And she was saying I would probably do a ceviche as well. So Mom does know best up there then. Yeah. All right. Mom's raising the roof over there. And let's see if our judges are going to be raising the roof as well. Jessica, walk us through the first few bites here of this dish.
So the dish was wonderful. Hats off to you in creating this. The fish was marinated beautifully. It really sung with that mint, the lime flavor. And the sauce, I would have, traditionally fish and Parmesan don't really go together. But I think you did a really nice job blending them. For me, if anything, I would have loved the texture from the crispy skin, and the texture of the sauce was a hair grainy there, but the flavors really complemented it, and I'm so impressed that you made these ingredients work so well together.
I dig it. Tyler, we got whole pompano, mint jelly, two ingredients that you probably wouldn't think would go well together, but they all had to come together on a dish that you just had a few bites of. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I love the fish. I love like the ceviche. That's like right up my alley. It was amazing. The only thing I'd say, like texturally, it was a little grainy. But as far as like the fish, how you executed that, and like you got like mint jelly with pompano, that's tough. It was amazing for the things you've been handed. So good job.
I dig it. And Rachel, you and I were, offline. We were kind of going like, what would you do? How would you do this? What would I kind of think of? What was working on this dish that is going back for extra bites, or what is an area of opportunity that we might need to work on? Walk us through both of those sides of the coin.
I think your dish was very smart for given the time and what the ingredients were. I loved the flavors of it. I mean, your palate is really good. You really have a developed palate, so you should be very proud of yourself. I will say the sauce was grainy, but the flavors of it made me forget how grainy it was, honestly, and I could have eaten a couple more, so I think overall you did a really good job.
I dig it. Get your phones ready, because you're going to be a part of that audience participation in just a little bit, but I need to hear from Chef Evan, too, on his dish.
Well, I want to take a pause while our judges eat the next dish. We have a unique opportunity here, Jeff. Okay. I don't know if you're aware of this bit of surprise.
I'm all for surprises. I love surprises. Who doesn't love a surprise? You guys all love surprises?
Right.
They love surprises, too.
My boss is here.
Your boss is here?
Yeah, so he's my new boss, and he's wondering what it is that I do for a living.
Okay.
And how I carry out my responsibilities. So we're going to bring Kareem Spratling up, Esquire, Kareem Spratling, Esquire. Come on up. So like many of our organizations and organizations we have a board member from Florida Blue, from Coca-Cola. We also have a new board chair that just started with us about a month ago, Kareem Spratling. So Kareem. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kareem. I see a lot of friends and colleagues in the room, and I would also say that, so I live into this work, right? What we're doing, I want to first say thank you. And I remember when I was growing up, times were rough, they'd say, oh, you're going to get a surprise for Christmas. This is the type of surprise that you guys just got, right? You thought you were going to get the Nike Air Jordans, and you just got the knockoff. I'm nevertheless grateful to be here. I am, in my day job, I run the Tampa office of a local law firm, but really living into this work is what I'm passionate about, and I'm very grateful for you all being here, and I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you to Kareem and to all of our board members. Oh, no, wait, we have a few other questions. So Kareem, you're a decorated bond attorney. You have closed millions and millions of dollars worth of deals.
Billions, Thomas.
Billions. You're married to one of the most successful nonprofit executives in our community, Tammy. You've had all kinds of success. Is being board chair at Feeding Tampa Bay the pinnacle of your career?
Yes.
Thank you. We appreciate that. And Kareem, we're really grateful you to be here. I hope you're going to stick around and see who we crown as our Epic Chef champion for this year.
Yes, I'm pumped to see it and to go visit their restaurant.
Everybody, Kareem Spratling.
Now, one chef's already presented. Let's get our other dishes out from Chef Evan for us to be able to try out and to be able to experience. Have you guys gotten those ones already out there? Fantastic.
We have one judge that needs to
We're
eat.
missing just one. It's all about the gram.
All about the
it's all about the
pictures.
gram. We got to bring it out for the pictures. Evan.
Yes.
Your eyes lit up with the whole pompano and the mint jelly. I'm not going to lie. I wish I had a camera to be able to do that on that side because you looked intimidated by it. But this is just a normal day in the life for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, we do a lot of fish at Wild Child, so I wasn't like super worried about that. But I saw the mint jelly and like, it just doesn't look like it's made out of real food. So I was like, this can't be good. And then I tasted it, and it tasted like it wasn't made out of real food. So I just kind of was trying to figure out how to bury it a little bit because it just kind of tasted bad to me. But so I made an aguachile on the outside. That's where the mint jelly is incorporated. And I threw a little bit of fresh mint in there as well, just to kind of like reinforce the flavor. In the middle is an avocado crema. Right on top is a seared piece of snapper, some shaved red onion, cilantro, and a little bit more mint. I just wanted to make it like a bright, acidic, creamy dish that could hide that awful flavor of the mint jelly.
So mint jelly's not going on the menu at any time of the year for you. It's not even coming out of Easter, it sounds like, either.
No, I'll never taste that again.
Never again. But you had to taste it tonight. You had to work with it. How important is it to kind of put back maybe what you have as the feelings for some different ingredients, but know that you have to be the maestro to make sure that all those ingredients come together to form a composed dish like the one that you just made? How important is that?
No, I definitely welcome the challenge, and like I did practice rounds with Chef Rob and Chef Mike at Wild Child, and they would just give me random stuff, and it definitely makes you a better cook. It like you have to figure it out. It's just like problem solving, and I think just in life too, you know, like sometimes things are just gonna be thrown at you. You got to figure it out. So it's the same thing here, just making it work and making it happen.
I dig it, and let's see how that came out here. We're seeing how it happens.
Okay.
Rachel.
Okay, so I think when you tell me aguachile, I expect a lot of citrus, right? I will agree with you. Mint jelly is disgusting. So you did the best with what you had, to be honest. I did get a couple bones and some scales, like in my first couple bites. But once I got past the skin, I will say your fish was cooked perfectly, salted perfectly. What you were trying to do really was awesome. And I think I could keep eating it, honestly. But I think overall you did a great job.
Tyler, this is a championship round. One person is going to become the Marty Blitz winner. They had to put everything out on the line here to make a dish like this happen. Walk us through this second dish here.
Yeah, I'm already done with it. It's really good. I'm thinking about just Zamboni and all the sauce off the plate. This is amazing. I think it's awesome. Yeah, for real. You did a great job. You made both the flavors go well together. You can maybe consider putting some mint jelly on the menu because that was really good. Yeah.
Now, Jessica, two secret ingredients. We had the whole pompano and we had the mint jelly. Both of them have to shine in their own respective light. You heard it from Evan that it's not his favorite ingredient, but he had to make it kind of come together, brought some life, brought a reimagining to this dish to incorporate that in. Are you tasting it along the way? Are you getting more of the other ingredients? Are you getting that mint jelly? What are we going with here?
When I saw those ingredients, I myself was, oh no, thinking about what would I do if I had these. And I think you did a great job working together with them. And you can definitely taste both of them. The sauce really has, I think, a lot of that flavor to it. It leans a hair sweet, which is what the mint jelly does. But I think you did a great job working through that and making sure that they kind of still worked fairly well together. And the fish, again, is just beautifully cooked.
All right, well done. So I know we'll have our team come in and gather the scorecards up. In the meantime, We do have audience participation again. So I have 2 questions I'm supposed to ask you, which are like 27 cards down in my little pile here. Presentation. So first, again, presentation. If we would put the barcode up there, that would be great, or whatever it's called. No. QR code.
And you all in this room get to play just like our judges. Our judges are judging them on flavor, creativity, and presentation. And as that QR code comes back up on the screen for you all to participate in here, you all get to figure out which chef used the ingredient with that creativity here. Creativity is what we're going with here. And looks as though that it's neck and neck, going back and forth a little bit here. Those 2 mystery ingredients, mint jelly, whole pompano. And it's neck and neck going back and forth. It is a fight, and it will be a fight all the way to the wire here, just like we think it was going to be.
I also think Chef Lipman looks very different with a beard.
It's the beard and the hat. It changes everything. I should know. I've ditched the hat. I'm sans hat now these days.
I see. Okay, second question. Thank you. Second question is best presentation. You all got to look at it under the camera. Best presentation.
Super wild. The powers of technology that we can do this right on the spot.
So again, our judges have handed in their scorecards. We're going to do a quick tabulation. We have an accounting firm that we bring in to make sure that the results are tabulated
They have a
correctly.
briefcase with a handcuff.
I think we should read the instructions like they do at the Academy Awards. What do you think?
Absolutely, I think we
That's
should.
an audience killer if there ever was one.
No, I think it's time.
Okay. So, as we get closer to the end, we're going to tabulate the results, and folks are going to come up. Again, if you haven't noticed this, we have a bit of a celebrity draw here. So I want to mention one of our other celebrities, Ian Anderson, who is the editor of the Tampa Bay Business Journal. We're often glad to have him here with us today. If you want to know what's happening in our community in the business world, you're reading the work that he and his team do here in the community. Again, we're always grateful that you've helped us tell the story of our community. So before we have the judges come in, or the results come in, anybody want to offer some thoughts about the meal that was created and what you would have done with a huge fish and some mint jelly?
Speak now or forever hold your peace, people. I mean,
you heard what they did. Anybody else want to tell us what you would have done?
No. It's a quiet group tonight, my friend.
This is the first time we haven't had somebody that says,
it's tough with these ingredients. I'm not going to lie. These were tough ingredients.
I would say,
the mint jelly is a very polarizing ingredient to work with. But
I would say these have been the most difficult of our ingredients that we have used in the past 3 weeks.
You know what, though? I don't think they really wanted to know what they were going to do with the ingredients, but I think they do want to have a random question to figure out what they might be answered on.
A random question. This is how you know we're singing for our supper. We have an audience participation question. Oh, this is actually a pretty good one. Huh? Okay. All right, we're going to ask our folks at Cisco who are supplying tonight's dessert. Here is your question. So, am I going to ask you or am I going to ask her? Okay. All right. First, after I ask the question, I'll ask you to introduce yourself. But here's your question. Table for 4, and you can choose 3 guests to join you. Who are the 3 guests?
Ooh. That would be my mom, my sister.
I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm Patty Malikos. I work for Cisco, 22 years. Cisco, West Coast, Florida. The 4 guests would be my mom and my sister, who have both passed. Those 2. And my daughter and my son.
Okay, great. So it'd be a family affair. Definitely would be. Okay. Gail, you're in the news business, and you've interviewed everybody and their brother. Who are the 3 people that you're going to have at your table? You can mention me, but I think that's a wasted choice.
I'm a family girl, too, so it'd be my mom and my dad, who have both passed, and my brother, husband, and myself.
I think that was more than 4. Yeah. Who are you taking out? And your kids. So now you have like a table of 8. You know, one of the things, Jeff, you said it earlier that we know is that a lot of our experiences, most of you, God willing, will never understand what food insecurity means, but everybody understands how important food is and the family that comes around it and that is with you when you have a meal. And so again, I think as Kelly mentioned, as you leave here tonight, if you take nothing else with you, I hope you take the story of our friends and neighbors who don't always have the option to prepare a meal at home themselves. And as we mentioned, all of the proceeds that we generate tonight through our generous sponsors end up as meals on the table of our friends and neighbors in our community. Are we? Okay, so Chef Marty, you want to come on down and help us present the award? Kareem, please.
And as we're going through all of that,
chefs, you got to. This is the moment of truth.
This is it, because one winner is going to be crowned the Marty Blitz Award winner. That individual will also be receiving a beautiful custom leather knife roll, 2 Shun knives, and a beautiful check as a crash prize of $2,500.
Right, so the winner gets 2,500 clams.
Boom, just like that.
Just like that.
But our runner-up is not going home empty-handed either. That runner-up is going to be going home with $1,500 and a custom leather knife roll and 1 Shun knife. And so these are some great items here.
Yes, they are. They're great prizes and befits great chefs. And so we're grateful. Then, Marty, you got to hold up our award. There's a Vanna White moment. The Marty Blitz Award winner that will go. And I have the drum roll.
The moment of truth
Okay.
to seal the fates of one of our chefs going forward this evening.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the 2023 Marty Blitz Award as our epic chef is Chef Adrianna Siller.
Mom knows best. She's the one up there.
Yeah. So, Chef, in a moment, we'll talk to but let's talk a little bit and say thank you, Chef, for coming in and participating with us. How do you feel about how your night went?
I feel good. I'm happy to lose to Chef Adrianna. She's an amazing chef, and like I said, my neighbor, she's a killer chef, so everything's all good.
And 2 incredible wins last week, this week. What does this mean to you in front of a room like this tonight for you?
I think above all, I've surprised myself with how well I've done. So I'm like super proud. I'm proud to represent my family and everyone watching and all my friends and Bandit. And this is awesome. I'm trying not to cry. So thank you guys.
Very cool.
And as we mentioned, we have some lovely gifts for both of you. So, and to all of you, as mentioned, we're grateful that you're here and spent some of your time with us. We'd like to again recognize our sponsors who made tonight possible. On your way out, there is dessert opportunity, as we mentioned. We want to thank our judges who were so gracious to come and spend their time with us. Go Rays. We want to thank our presenting, I guess, the Don of all cooking and food in Tampa Bay, Marty Blitz, for being here with us. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We want to thank the team here at the Epicurean.
Right.
For doing everything. We want to thank all the team at Feeding Tampa Bay, all the camera, all the work, all the stuff that's behind the scenes that you don't see, they're doing right now, manning the boards out there with every piece of equipment known to man to make something like this happen.
Yeah, and so we do. Thank you, Jeff. I would like to say and recognize our team and say thank you. These are some of the friends from the Epicurean team who come in and make sure that they take care of us. This is Rossi, who has lived with this all 8 years and has made this possible for us. So on behalf of all of us, thank you to all of your colleagues here at Epicurean for making this happen. And mostly, thank you to you for being here. We appreciate it. If you would, take a little bit of us with you as you leave here today. Thanks, everybody.
Good night.
What you say could make the best of us. All the same, you're burning up. Morning rain, evening dust. Forget your name, then picture us. All is fair in love and lust. Haven't you heard? It's not enough. It's never enough. The sweet will rough. Haven't you heard? It's always too much. You get the feeling, but the feeling ain't right. It lingers on till the end of the night. Your head gets high, but the lows never light. Haven't you heard? It's passing you by. It's passing you by. Sweet by and by. Haven't you heard? Try as you might. You did for money, but the money don't show. Not enough. And all the while, push the feeling down low. Never enough. Lay down your intention before you go. Or hadn't you heard? Haven't you heard? Or didn't you know?
Nobody's next in between me and mommy. It's me and Mr. Jones. Me and Mr. Jones. What kind of fuckery is this? You made me Mr. Slick Ricky. And thought I didn't love you when I did. Can't believe you played me out like that. No, you ain't worth guessing. Plus one of all them girls you kissed. You can't keep lying to yourself like this. Can't believe you played yourself like this. Rulers one thing, but come bricks down. Nobody stands in between me and my man, 'cause it's me and Mr. Jones. Me and Mr. Jones. What kind of fuckery are we? Nowadays, you don't mean dick to me. I might let you make it up to me. Who's playing Saturday? What kind of fuckery are you? Die from Sammy, you're my best black Joe. But I could swear that we would throw. I still
I know. Less is more than what I need. Just give me peace of mind. Just give me peace of mind. No rewind. Bring the tape back. Step back. Look close at what you see. Just rewind. Move the tape back. Step back, then move it on. There's somewhere I can go, somewhere I can hide, in every face I know. Less is more than what I need. Just give me peace of mind. Just give me peace of mind. Just rewind. Bring the tape back. Step back. Look close at what you see. Just rewind. Move the tape back. Step back. Step back.